We're back.
For those who weren't listening off air, which is everybody, I just said I wasn't going to start with that. Little inside joke for us. We're back. Welcome back to Lombardi Sweep. I think it's going to be pretty much every week from now until February because Packers going to the Super Bowl. Obviously.
Yes, sir.
That's the most optimistic thing I will say until March. My name's Zach Bruner, Luke Reimer in the middle, Trevor Land on the right. Janet Wilson, this is going to surprise everybody. She's out recruiting kids.
DNP.
Yeah, I mean, hey, a lot of Oklahoma drills, a lot of 40 times. She's hand timing it, though. I think she's beefing the stats a little bit, but we will see what's happening. I think she'll be back next week, and she'll have a lot to report on. We will grill her about all of her recruits.
Yes.
That's what this show's about.
Dude.
I'd like to think she has a drill where she practices their pass protection, you know? They get up from nap time, automatically pass protect.
She does a spin, just elbows the kid right in the temple. You got to move your feet. You got to stay in front of me.
For hand timing, when I was a senior in high school, we're doing like before football started, we're doing like all the like combine shit or whatever. I ran like a 4.840 because it was hand timed, and I think I got a 0.2. So I've told everyone that I've run a broken 5 on 40s before.
Hey,
we need to do that as a podcast group.
Yeah, do whatever you got to do.
I bet I could
get 40.
I bet I could still break it.
If you want to see Luke break it, rate us 5 stars and subscribe on YouTube.
And I will go until I break it.
Fair enough. Best of luck to you. I don't trust myself. But we are back covering Packers training camp right now. A lot of stuff happening in training camp. Obviously, this will be a transition season for a lot of reasons. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, in New York with the Jets. We got Jordan Love in his first season as a starter. And we'll start with talking about Jordan Love. Obviously, people think I hate Jordan Love. I'll start with saying I don't. I think he seems like a cool guy. I've always said the situation he's in is very clearly and obviously is not his fault. I hated the situation he was put in. I hate everything of how it was handled. And I just didn't think he was worth a first-round draft grade. I didn't think he was worth a second-round draft grade. I thought he was more of a third-round guy. We traded up in the first, is what it is. Now, first year as a starter, everyone's talking about he's the man. He's saying he's the man. Inconsistent stuff at practice. But I want to start with this, and we didn't even talk about this pre-show. It just jumped into my mind. Mark Murphy, he's an idiot. I cannot stand Mark Murphy only says wrong things. Mm-hmm. Why would he say, we will take half a season to see what Jordan Love can do? What is the point of that? Mm-hmm. You hitched your wagon to Jordan Love. You will take the whole first season. You'll probably take next season to see what he can do. You will take at least 25 weeks to see what he can do. Well, what are you going to do at half the season? Are you going to go to what's his face? Who's Danny Etling? What are we doing?
Dude, I'm with you. Like I was about to say, we're going to take the first 6 weeks to see what we have. What if you don't have anything?
What are you doing?
On top of that, too, he's been behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years? All he's had to do is learn the playbook and look pretty. That's it. Like if there's That's it. You should know pretty quickly.
I will say, Zach, to your point.
I don't think we will know quickly, though. That's kind of my point.
Correct.
Go ahead with your point, but I have a lot to say about this. It's so dumb.
Just because you brought it up, like, Jordan Love's, he's saying he's the guy, everything. There is Zach, I told you this, Trevor, I don't know if I told you this. There's an aura around Jordan Love right now. Like last year, you could tell like it's still I'm still kind of the new guy here, even though he wasn't. Now, like I was talking to him, and you can tell that there's an utmost confidence. Like he knows he's a guy. It seems like he's ready to go. And as someone who has talked, I don't want to say talk shit about Jordan Love, but as someone who hasn't been confident in Jordan Love, that's a bright spot in my eyes. Will that carry over to the football field? I don't know, but I think that's better than being like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, like not like kind of being a pussy. Like to me, Jordan Love is not a pussy right now.
I completely agree. He's being what he has to be.
Yeah.
Whether it doesn't even matter if it's authentic or not. It's perceived as authentic by most importantly his teammates, but everybody, the media and everything. And when you put it out, it's coming back to him. Oh, Jordan Love looks like the guy. Everything. It's just a constant cycle, and he's getting more and more confident, and that's what he has to do. But that's the thing. Everyone's saying Jordan Love is the guy, except for Mark Murphy, who is the pretend owner of the Packers.
The number one there.
Yeah, what are we doing? Everything we've been doing for 3 years is coming up to this point, and now you're like, I don't know if he's the guy. Like, what were we doing?
Like,
drafted somebody to make the Super Bowl.
Brother, your GM and your coach depend on Jordan Love being good.
Yeah. He shouldn't be depending on him, but he's not, because he's making so much money. He has the draft coming to Green Bay, and he knows, I think, this is not real. This is probably wrong. But he knows that if Jordan Love is terrible, that's better for draft day when it's in Green Bay. We're drafting the new franchise quarterback, Jordan Love. I knew we shouldn't go for Jordan Love. We had Aaron Rodgers. We're going to draft the next Aaron Rodgers right now in front of our fans for the first time. That's the best case scenario. It truly is. If you can recycle, you could start over there. Like, look at Anthony Richardson in Indy. There's nothing bad happening in Indy right now because of Anthony Richardson going on there. I can't think of anything. So that's what the Packers probably want to do.
That's why I say he'll take half of the season. Or not CJ Williams, quarterback for USC.
I don't know. No,
Caleb Williams?
Yeah. Caleb Williams. We can't, though, right?
That'd be awesome. It'd be incredible.
I would like it.
I agree. Me too.
You're right. You can't.
We can't. We can't do that.
But like, Packer fans won't like to hear this, but I'm not going to say a real possibility. I'm not even going to say a very good possibility. There's a possibility that our new GM is drafting our new quarterback with the first overall pick in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, people are going to hate me for saying this now. I would consider that a success, because then we're doing something.
Probably.
I hate treading water. Let's go backwards or let's go forwards. We got to do something.
We talked about that.
To do something.
We talked about that at the Devontae trade a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think moving away from Rodgers is the start of that. Saying Jordan Love has half of a season to see if he can be the guy. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I'm excited for something to happen. And obviously training camp has started. There's a lot of highlights going on. If you are on only Twitter or
X, you say OnlyFans.
If you are on OnlyFans, let us know. If you are on like just these social media sites and you're watching videos, you're on YouTube watching highlights from training camp, I think you're getting one side of the story. Then if you're there or if you're reading articles, I think you're on a different side of the story, what's happening in Green Bay right now, because Jordan Love's dropping dimes very clearly. Like, he is dropping some very, very good passes, deep passes down the sideline. He's got some good ones, and those are getting shares, obviously, because it looks good. A lot of people believe they're getting proven right, so they're sharing those even more. And he looks very, very good. He looks like a franchise guy. However, if you are there, if you're reading articles, if you're doing stuff like that, offense has been really struggling, partially because of Jordan Love, partially not because of Jordan Love. Like, this is not a show where I'm going to criticize Jordan Love, but this is a show where I will say his entire career he's been inconsistent. His entire career he has not completed passes the entire time. Steve Curry shout out. I will say, we'll just put this on. We'll just do this for people watching. But Jordan Love's been an inconsistent player his entire career. I will say he has been a very inaccurate player his entire career. And the good news is, when he sets his feet right now, it appears he's at least accurate in the deep ball. So I think we're clearly seeing steps forward for Jordan Love. I think the offensive line's getting worse. I think the wide receiver core is very questionable, even though people are talking about how young and talented they are, which is absolutely true. I don't especially think they know how to play football, which is a weird thing to say, but I think that's true. I don't think they have anyone there to teach them how to play football.
Yeah,
I think they're talented guys. That's it.
Yeah, and this doesn't really coincide with your point or anything, but this kind of does. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised when Romeo Doubs ends up being wide receiver 1 on the Packers this year.
It's very possible. Yeah. He's very talented.
Mm-hmm. He's a more talented receiver than Christian Watson.
Agreed. And I was surprised to hear, and maybe I shouldn't because it's a football family and stuff, and I do know the coaches he played for, and I heard similar things kind of. Matt LaFleur called Christian Watson as smart of a football player he's ever been around. I think he forgot the quarterback. He just, he didn't really coach Aaron Rodgers. He was next to Aaron Rodgers for a while. Maybe Christian Watson's a very smart player. I don't know. But Romeo Doubs is a more talented player. He's a more skilled player, less athletically gifted, but that's about it. But yeah, they have talent in the receiving room. They obviously have talent in the backfield. They have talent and size and athleticism at tight end. I think Jordan Love is talented. I really question coaching. I really question philosophy. And clearly, there's only so much coaches can do as well. You need leaders on the field. You need people in the huddle. You need people in the position rooms leading that are players. And from a roster construction standpoint, the Packers didn't do that on offense yet. Now's the most important time to do it, but they haven't done that. And that is where I'm still hesitant on the Packers for this season and possibly beyond, because I don't know where the development is coming from.
Right. And just to your point about leadership too, I love David Bakhtiari, I love Aaron Jones, but I mean, you're losing Aaron Rodgers, you're losing Alan Lazard, you're losing Mercedes Lewis, like you're losing a lot of influence in this locker room. Is that a good thing maybe for young guys to figure it out together? It could be, but that just feels like many more mistakes and much longer trying to develop, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I've said this a few times too. And I think the last time we had a show, so it's been a while, but Jordan Love's doing all the right things, saying the right things right now, which is great. I don't really care. And I don't really care because I'll start paying attention after they lose 2 games, after he gets hit, after stuff like that. Like, we need to see how he can bounce back. He hasn't had to.
Well, and that's the problem that I have too. I mean, you talked about, coaching and Love. Like, Love could be a very good player. We've seen what this team was like with the most talented quarterback of all time. Even the 2 years he won MVP, there were tough games that we probably should have lost that we won. So even if Jordan Love is above average, there are going to be some games that he loses this year, and I really want to see how he handles that, because LaFleur can't give the prep talks, and that's a really easy way to come down. If Love is giving it his all, the guys are rallying around him, and the coaching is letting him down.
And it's going to be a weird dynamic if they start losing regardless, because what Jordan Love will have to do to be successful is he needs to be extremely demanding of his players, especially because of how inexperienced they are. The issue is if they're losing and Jordan Love isn't playing well, the inexperienced players will look at the inexperienced quarterback and say, why does he think he knows more than me? Right. I've been playing more football than him. And, maybe the Packers will not even run into this scenario. They start with the Bears. Can they beat the Bears? I hope so, because the Bears are fucking terrible. We can all agree about that. They are the worst team in the NFL in my eyes. They are very, very bad at football.
Yep.
But what if they don't? What if they don't beat the Bears?
Like, that's very scary, because they have the Bears. If you lose that game, that's a really, really bad loss. Then you play Atlanta, and we know their run team. And if you lose that, now you're coming to your home opener trying not to go 0-3 against the Saints. That could get really dicey really quick.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very unique and interesting season for many reasons. Probably not all good. But I'm very excited for this season. I'm more excited for this season than last season.
Absolutely.
Like, something's going to happen. And we will cover it all here on Lombardi Suite. And boy, it's going to be a lot of high horse standing. We'll be saying we'll be pulling clips from former shows if things go our way. And if they don't, prove me wrong. I'll be very happy if I'm proven wrong.
If y'all thought I was toxic before, just you wait. Oh boy.
Okay. Well, okay. So to tie a bow on the Jordan Love stuff, he has been throwing the long ball. It's been hit or miss. He's done some really accurate things that he has not done in the past and looked good. And then there's just been flat out misses. And I do think a lot of it comes down to, it's still technique stuff. Like, when his feet don't do the right things, he's still inaccurate. He still lacks anticipatory skills. And what I mean by that is you need to throw to where the player is going to be, not where they are right now. He does a lot of throwing at the open window, not where the open window is going to be. That's the difference between, college and the NFL. Unfortunately, he wasn't very good in college or high school. So, maybe he'll be great in the NFL. I wasn't a good high school quarterback, never tried, but I'm just going to assume I wasn't. Could I be good in the NFL? I would love to be given the opportunity. So if Jordan Love doesn't work out, call me up.
You can't raise your hand high enough. What are you talking about?
I can raise my hand. I just can't do the only motion I could describe it as is a throwing motion. I can't do that very well. But
Zach,
I can pitch.
Brett Favre shovel passes all day.
Oh,
Zach, I agree with you. We have no reason to believe, or we have no way to know that you would be a bad NFL quarterback.
There's no. Well, I think that you could run some tests, but those tests have not been done yet. Also, by the way, my good shoulder pinched nerve in it. It's really uncomfortable today. But I'm not throwing with my left arm. I'm throwing with my right one, which again does not work well. But hey, you know who also doesn't have a right arm that works well?
Tim Tebow.
I mean, Tim Tebow. We got
Nate Peterman.
I mean, to be completely honest, Justin Fields.
Stoof's right. Stoof is right. We have no reason to believe Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Zach Bruner.
I mean, how many interceptions have I ever thrown?
Right.
And by the way, how many kick returns do I have? One.
Right.
Went pretty well. It was JV football, but it did the job. So, Keyshawn Nixon, Zach Bruner.
Coming from you.
I don't know. I think we're like the same height. That's all kick returning is, right?
I bet you guys have the same attitude too.
That's possibly true. Mm-hmm. That one I will actually say that one's probably true. I could do the XFL kickoff. Return that we're switching to possibly. It's gonna be.
I hope
nightmare.
not.
It's just gross. Yep. So gross. Might as well just start the every drive on the 25.
Didn't the XFL used to do where they put the ball in the middle and you have to run and go get it? Bring that shit back, man.
I do like that.
Yeah,
I do like that. It's better.
Yeah,
it's at least better. I don't know.
Collide right at midfield. It's incredible.
Just do we should have like a massive Oklahoma drill with the ball in the middle. Like have a very narrow tunnel. I want more collision. Is that possible?
I
feel like we might be going the opposite, but I think that could be fine.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
Brain surgeons are loving this.
53v53 Oklahoma drill.
That's a lot of.
Imagine doing that instead of overtime.
Hey, we have thrown out some overtime scenarios on the Flurry Sports podcast in the past, and I gotta say that beats out some of them we have definitely said. So I think that
imagine it's a 53v53 Oklahoma drill, and their first guy is Derrick Henry. You just gotta go home.
Yeah, you know what? You guys got it.
Yeah, you guys can win. Good luck in the playoffs.
Okay. Let's talk Packers. Jordan Love, inconsistent, has done good stuff, has done bad stuff. He needs more time.
Yep.
Probably more than a half a season, Mark Murphy, if you are listening.
You know what's been really great for Jordan.
Go ahead, because the next point's not a fun one. Go ahead.
Okay. What would have been really great for Jordan Love's development is playing the last 3 years.
I agree.
Imagine if we would have.
You know whose fault that was?
Our GM.
No, Aaron Rodgers. Listen to every Packers fan. He's so selfish. Why did he play football?
Remember the hand signals when that was a thing? I hope they have those down this year.
And also, I love how we traded up 2 picks, and then instead of just losing an extra game and getting that pick.
Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, also we traded up 2 picks when we definitely didn't need to. We got paranoid. Everybody wants Jordan Love, guys. He's so good.
Lombardi sweep is so back.
we hit our stride. Jade Reed is the Antonio Brown. I don't know about that. Antonio Brown's not very good. Jade Reed's unbelievable. I saw him almost catch a pass today. We dropped it, but it was close.
It's like we're almost pretty for sure that Antonio Brown's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. We don't know about that about Jaden Reed.
That's fair.
That's interesting. If you had to give a percentage for each to be in the Hall of Fame,
it might be the same.
AB's not making it, is he?
No, they're going to blackball him. Of course he's not going to make it.
We'll see. I feel like he's got one more stint in him. Someone's going to give him a shot.
He's going to be in Baltimore in 5 years.
Baltimore is the only place I think who could take him.
Yeah.
Or is
Get
it,
them on Hard Knocks.
he's cousins with Marquise Brown, right?
I believe so.
Why not pick him up if you're the Arizona Cardinals this year?
It's true. That would be really
You're not
funny.
wrong.
Just have him do whatever he wants.
Play quarterback.
Yep. You're not wrong.
And then we need to have the in-season Hard Knocks there, obviously. And I need a very long segment of him in a room with Kyler Murray, just like motivating him. Just teach him, hey, it's going to be okay. Just really talking him up.
While Kyler's playing Call of Duty, he's just trying
sure.
to get him to leave the room.
For probably soundproof earphones on, AB's talking to a brick wall. But it'd be great.
We need, they do Hard Knocks for every team, for a team every year. We just need year-long Hard Knocks on Antonio Brown.
Yeah. There's a former YouTube star on Twitch right now doing 24-hour, like 24/7 live streams of his life.
Yeah.
It's a disaster, but Antonio Brown could top it. And that would also be very fun.
Yes. I can't believe Antonio Brown hasn't thought of that yet.
That's a good point. Okay. Should we?
I want credit.
Let's talk about the Packers, I guess.
Okay. All right. I want credit for the AB cam when it happens.
Okay. We'll pull the clip.
Yeah.
We'll pull the clip. Next point. Anders, I'll just read it word for word. Anders Carlson sucks ass. That's what it says. I might have written it, but he is bad at football, guys. And I can't believe nobody said, oh, wait, we said it immediately. Like, he's not good. He wasn't good in high school. He wasn't good in college, and he's not good here. It's a very Jordan Love-like situation, except for we're just seeing it happen. I would say Mark Murphy should say that about him. We'll give him half a season, and we'll see what happens. There's no reason why Anders Carlson should make the final roster, but he's gonna.
You know a player's bad when they have troubles hyping him up in the draft. They hype every draft pick up, and for him, they're like,
especially kickers.
He's got room for growth. It's like, he played at Auburn.
He sure does.
At 70%. What do you mean room for growth? I have as much room for growth as this guy, probably more. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere to go but up. The Anders Carlson story. That's a memoir. I don't know. He's not good. He's just not. What?
Is that true that there's nowhere to go but up for him?
I think there's a little bit down.
That's true. There is a little bit down. He could not be in the NFL, I suppose. But which coming soon to a theater near you. But Anders Carlson, not very good. I want credit for this. If you're going to get credit for the AB cam, I want to get credit for this. Anders Carlson's going to make the final roster. He's going to be the kickoff kicker, and they're going to bring in someone for field goals.
Mm-hmm. You think that's what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. They can't have him kick field goals.
What? So Zach, you were telling us before the show. Shine some insight on why we have Anders Carlson on our team.
Okay. The real answer?
Whatever you want.
So people who don't know, I guess he's brothers with Daniel Carlson, who is a great kicker for the Raiders, was with the Vikings, struggled with the Vikings, I believe, went to the Raiders, has been good. Rich Bisaccia, our special teams coordinator, obviously was special teams under Gruden there, became the head coach there. Coach Carlson's one of the better kickers in the NFL. During his time there, he did work with Anders a little bit, met Anders, has been around him, obviously family member. So this was his draft pick. I think Bisaccia's done almost everything good in Green Bay. He is very clearly like the head coach there. He is the leadership person on the staff. He has done great things for personnel on the team. He brought in a lot of special teams players for the Packers last year, and a lot of them are actually starting on defense now. Like, he has helped everything from a roster construction, a leadership of everything in the building, really. But then he puts his neck out for Anders Carlson, and it's just an ego thing. I think he thinks he can make him into Daniel Carlson, and if he can, then I think Bisaccia should be in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. First things first, let's do this. What should we do with Anders Carlson? I think, one, let's get him an eye test, because maybe he can't see. He might be legally blind. There's a
Jameis.
very real chance. That's a great story.
Yep.
So that could be a very good thing for Anders Carlson, but very clearly he can't see the goalpost, or like there's just some disconnect between his brain and his foot, because I swear this is not a fake story. He was lining up for a kick and he was facing the wrong direction. And he kicked it the opposite direction. This guy's not good at football. He is not good. So who's the other kicker in camp right now? Who is it? Oh, nobody. Weird. What's that going on? That's awesome. Oh man, he's really, really good. K1, kicker one. He has no competition, guys. We've never seen this before. He's got no competition.
What's Ryan Longwell doing right about now?
What's Mason Crosby doing? I don't think he should be the kicker. But I just said Carlson's the kickoff kicker.
There's Crosby
the field goal kicker.
Perfect.
I mean, let's just look at this.
How does Pat O'Donnell not kick off?
How does Bajorquez not kick off? How does J.K. Scott not kick off? I don't know. We find these punters that don't, though.
They have all of them have monster legs, too.
Yep.
But
yep.
We tried out 39-year-old.
Most of them not great at punting either. But
right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at some free agent kickers live on the show here.
Shout out J.K. Scott, man.
Why?
You guys don't understand. Like, I was totally all in Hall of Fame Alabama punter.
Robbie Gould's available.
Yeah.
Sure
I
is.
saw him. Him, Randy Bullock, Ryan Suckup, Zane Gonzalez. What are we doing?
You know how loved Fat Randy would be in Green Bay?
Dude, he'd be like the Rafael Gaglianone
right.
of the Packers.
Bring him in. He was in the CFL for a hot sec. Didn't make the Edmonton Elks. I was heartbroken.
Yeah. He has made more field goals at Lambeau Field than Anders Carlson.
Fact.
Still. That's including training camp. Oh, no.
Dude, we're going to pull out the Mike Tomlin. You know how he used to always go for it on 2-point conversions, or he said he was going to? We're going to do it on every single fourth down and field goal range.
We have to. It's going to be torture just watching him line up.
It's going to be fun.
After time.
Dude, we're going to have to point to the field goal. Fan. When I'm at the game, we're actually going to have to hold signs that say aim here.
Man, I don't know. Good for him. Another thing, let's just talk about this back to Jordan Love, just because I actually had a couple of people ask about this. And if you haven't, true. If you didn't read this article on letsgowisconsin.com, letsgowi.com, also from us, a lot of Wisconsin culture and sports stuff. Peyton Manning was at Packers training camp, and I've actually had multiple people ask why Peyton Manning was there. Peyton Manning was there for a business project for Omaha Productions. For those who don't know, Omaha Productions did Quarterback, which is the docuseries on Netflix. It followed Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota last year. They are currently looking for 3 more quarterbacks for this year, and I can only assume that was to either pitch quarterback to Jordan Love, get everything squared away for him to be in it, or something. So I think there is a pretty good chance Jordan Love will be on next season's quarterback on Netflix. And I think that's why Peyton Manning was there. Not because he was working with Jordan Love, not because of anything like that, which was a weird speculation by real people employed at networks. What are we doing? But that's fine. Okay, Danny Elling's the quarterback 2. Level of concern.
Hi.
Okay, good. I mean, who's technically the quarterback 3? It's got to be
probably Sean.
Guy. Yeah.
Oh fuck! Yeah, I forgot we have Sean Clifford. God damn it.
Alex Magoo, U.S. two-time USFL champion, is also there. He is more of a runner, despite his skin complexion. He is a very fat. He's a Daniel Jones type of guy. Great guy, super cool guy. Yeah. He can throw. I hope he makes the team. He will not, but I hope he does.
People are going to love him in preseason.
For sure. Yeah. DraftKings lineups put him in.
Yep.
I mean,
absolutely.
Magoo's probably the second best quarterback on this team.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Are you think Danny Etling's better?
I don't. I just was trying to think of who's on our quarterback, and we don't have a lot of good quarterbacks in the room right now.
He's the second best quarterback labeled a quarterback.
Fair.
I think there's other players. I mean, Tadarius Slayton, obviously, probably QB1 if he was given the opportunity.
He's breathing well.
Luke asked him. I'm so happy to hear that. That actually, I cried for a little bit. That's beautiful. You should write a too long story on it.
Like clearly 1,500 words.
Did he understand what you were getting at? I'd like to think he.
I don't know.
Found that very funny.
I don't know.
Probably
Who knows?
not.
He was like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, I can't breathe. Get away from me. Like, oh no, it's happening again. Offensive line stuff. Zach Tom has been seeing most of his snaps at right tackle, but he's also been taking some snaps at center. He, I think, projects best as a guard or a center. Josh Myers not very good for all the reasons I've been saying over the past couple of years. I believe Zach Tom's probably going to be the starting right tackle. He doesn't have the length to be a snap in and snap out winner at the position, but he's very clearly the best candidate. If he does somehow start at center, Yash Nijman will be the starting right tackle. Who are the backup tackles after that?
No, man.
No. It'll be Zach Tom and Elton Jenkins, who are already starting on the interior. Runyon's locked down the right guard. Royce Newman, boy, do we have to have a party? Not because I don't want to cheer for players getting cut.
I do.
No, like they're real people. However, the amount of people who called me a lot of things for like saying the things I said about Royce Newman, which out of line, some of them, for sure. I just got done saying Anders Carlson needs a cane and some very darkly tinted sunglasses, but we might have to have a special live stream if Royce Newman isn't on the Packers anymore.
You're going to be like Stephen A. Smith whenever the Cowboys lose in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe he'll get the same treatment as Amari Rodgers going unclaimed on waivers and then picked up by the Colts. Like, Royce Newman can play for the Colts, not start, but he could be in camp there. They certainly need help at whatever he does. I guess backup guard. He's not very good. But yeah, so the starting offensive line right now is probably going to be left to right. It's going to be Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins. Myers is probably the leader for that center position because it's going to go Runyon then at right guard. We need Zach Tom at right tackle. He's very clearly the best option because the Packers chose not to address that need this offseason whatsoever. Bold choice with a young quarterback trying to develop for the first half of the season, apparently. And didn't bring back Mercedes Lewis either. So Jordan Love might get hit a fair amount, which is always good for development, I'm sure. So we will see what happens there. Last thing I have written down, Rashawn Gary is back in Packers training camp, apparently ahead of time. I'll talk about this. So every time there's a player that's back ahead of time.
Yep.
What does that mean to you guys? What does that mean to you?
It means that they're at the facility.
Well, I just mean they beat the timeline. Okay.
That tells me the timeline of like a normal person.
Well, true.
Are you getting at that they're rushed?
No. Who set the timeline?
Oh, right. I don't know. Who did?
The team. The media. And guess what? What did he do? He beat it. Because fucking Rashawn Gary's the man. Mm-hmm. Was it set very generously out? Yeah, but he beat it. He absolutely. This isn't an Adrian Peterson coming back way too soon situation. I just want that to be. Rashawn Gary's back. That's great. He did it faster than I could. 100%. Great. To your point, Trevor, a lot of it is the timeline of a regular person. That's true. But all of these, if the media for the teams are doing their job, they are setting it at They take the realistic timeline and then they stretch it a little bit. And then when they beat it, that promote our guy's better than your guy because he beat the timeline. That's great. That's what this is. So I just want to say that, not that Rashawn Gary can hear it because he's blocked all of us because I said he doesn't finish plays, I think. That's good. I'm good. I'm happy Rashawn Gary's back. The defense got significantly better after he left. Can we say that? Is that allowed, Rashawn?
It's a fact.
It is a fact. He can't defend the run. He isn't very good at finishing sacks. He allegedly can't read very well. He's dyslexic, but he got a college degree because of it. That's cool. Yeah, he's in his contract year. He needs to come back. He needs to play right away because he's in a contract year. He needs to accumulate as many sacks as possible. If he doesn't, then the Packers are going to use that against him. Oh, the Packers are going to use that against him. That probably means Rashawn Gary's not going to play week 1. So Rashawn Gary's back. He's ahead of schedule. Packers are going to reverse it on him. He's not going to play week 1. You can clip this too because the Packers fucking suck. I hate their front office so much. That's what they're going to do. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. That's what they're going to do. Contract year. We'll see what he does. Any thoughts on Rashawn Gary?
I don't know.
You like him. Go for it.
I don't. I mean, I don't at all.
Okay.
I do not like Rashawn Gary. He might be my most hated player on the team.
Sucks, dude.
Like, I'm with you. Like, the facts are in right there. Like, we won because Rashawn Gary was not on our team last year. That was a part of the reason why we won games. I don't know why that would change. Zach, you said in our chat earlier today, like, contract situation, everything, like, Rashawn Gary is going to end up like a Montez Sweat or someone like that. I think Montez Sweat is a better player than Rashawn Gary. I'd rather have him on my team right now. I think Rashawn Gary, and maybe this is not the fault of his own, but there is way too much hype around this guy. He would be, I think Rashawn Gary would be perfectly fine player if we weren't talking about him like he's the next coming to Jesus Christ. Like, it feels like Packer fans are saying, like, defense relies on Rashawn Gary. If he's not there, then, you know, another bad year of defense. We had a good year of defense last year without Rashawn Gary. That's the last time I'll make that point. But I don't necessarily know that Rashawn Gary, like, of course he adds to this team. I'm not saying that, you know, having Rashawn Gary on this team is horrible or anything. But really, how much does he add to this team?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go as far and say we ever had a good defense last year, but it did clearly improve. Morale didn't seem to take that big of a hit either. Sorry about it. Yeah, I mean, he's like Zadarius Smith. He's a liability in the run game. We've talked about it. He overruns. Quarterbacks run into him for sacks. A lot of players can do that. A lot of players can do that off the street. He's a fine player, but we need to kind of tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, not a lot of edge players combine a bull rush with an inability to defend the run. But that's why he just doesn't have a good feel. And it's truly coaching. I think he is a athletic and physical specimen. I think he has all the tools to be great. He's just not it. And yeah, the Packers defense got better at the end of the year because 1, Rashawn Gary wasn't there. They defended the run better and could do more stunts on the inside. And 2, Eric Stokes was not there. And Eric Stokes is not very good. Weirdly, did the exact same stuff in the NFL as we said on draft night he would do. So a lot of chasing that doesn't really work in the NFL. I'm very interested to see what they do with Eric Stokes, though. We can talk about that when he comes back because it seems very clear that Rasul and Jair are the number 1 and 2.
They have to.
Rasul needs to play on the outside. And then Nixon is the only player really who is capable of playing slot.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of puts Eric Stokes then as the cornerback 4, which does also kind of mean he needs to play special teams. Will he play special teams? Probably not. Like, he's in a really weird in-between role in the Packers, and I hope he doesn't get, like, forced into the lineup to do something, because I know he's also, I'm not sure if Luke, you've heard anything. Packers have been pretty quiet with his recovery too, I think.
I did not. Yeah, I saw him for like 5 minutes last Wednesday, and that was all I saw of him. And nobody said anything, didn't hear anything about him or anything.
Yeah. He's a while out.
Yeah.
Well, and picks miss sometimes. It's a first round pick that's going to be a quarterback 4 in what? Is this his contract year or next year?
next year.
But like, I'm not saying all picks pan out. I'm not gonna be that stupid. But like, you drafted him to be the guy. You told us he was the best guy. You got the best player. You passed many prospects ahead of him, and he's exactly what we thought he was.
If Eric Stokes ends up as cornerback 4 and ends up being whatever and doesn't really get back to what the Packers thought they had, it's worse than Kevin King.
Yeah. I think Kevin King, when on the field healthy, has had more bright moments than Stokes.
Correct.
I think, Kevin King's biggest issue was health.
Yep.
As much as I hated him. But that's for sure was his biggest issue. Just to go back to the edge rotation there. So right now, Preston Smith obviously is the locked in one. What they've been doing lately, most recently, is they've had Van Ness, obviously rookie first rounder. Him and Justin Hollins have been rotating at the other one. They've had Enigbare pretty much locked in with the second team, which was surprising to me.
Agreed.
That's fine. So when Rashawn Gary comes back, then speculation would be Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, Van Ness all rotate in, rotate out. Preston Smith very clearly the best run defense and pass. If he has to drop into coverage, he's the best out of the best out of the group there. Van Ness, we need to just see how he develops, but he can certainly defend the run as well. Rashawn Gary they have the ability to bring him in slowly, I think, because they have those two guys. I don't know this for a fact. I think what they should be doing with Enigbare is just drilling pass rush it. Just drilling. And if he can just become a pass rush specialist for the Packers in by December time, and then he can just carry that over into next year, I think this pass rushing group can be pretty good. And it also gives the Packers the ability to, they won't do it, but to fully move on from Rashawn Gary if they want to.
Yeah.
If they do that.
Yep. I mean, it makes sense.
But it's pretty deep edge rushing group, I would say. Like, who's the other? Like, they got Banks there. He's doing a little bit of stuff.
That's after cutting Jonathan Garvin, too.
Happy birthday. That was cool. To your point before, Rashawn Gary's not the leader of the defense. He's not the focal point. He needs to do well for everyone else to do well. That's Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's locked in there. Slayton and Wyatt have both taken steps forward. Slayton, in my opinion, more impressively from what I have heard. So I think those three will get a lot of snaps on the interior. I think Colby Wooden isn't what they hoped, personally. I think he will find some snaps, but I think they don't really know the specific roles they want to do with Wooden and Brooks yet. And a lot of time to figure that out. I mean, we got a whole month. Yep. But I think that's the situation in camp right now. Jonathan Ford is just sort of there. He kind of is what he is. In terms of linebackers, Quay and DeAndre Campbell are going to be the starters. Eric Wilson is back. I think he's a very, very, very underrated veteran weapon at linebacker for the Packers. Isaiah McDuffie's still there. Tarek Carpenter has been working with linebackers, which apparently is surprising. I'm not sure why, but he's there. And then I think that's basically going to be it at that group. I don't really like anybody else. And then, like, cornerbacks is kind of locked in already.
Yep.
Like, it's going to be the three starters. We got Rasul, Jair, and Nixon. Carrington Valentine, rookie. He's been looking pretty good. I think he's got that spot. Eric Stokes. They like Ballantyne, actually. I think Shamar could get cut for Ballantyne.
Do you think Shamar is going to get cut? The only reason I bring it up is he was running gunner with the ones last Wednesday.
He's very good special teams.
Yeah.
If this is Packers of the past, he's cut in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If Bisaccia has anything to say about it, like he'll make the final roster because Stokes isn't
right. Right.
That's going to be the weird decision if they're forced to do something.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. The Stokes play special teams when he rejoins the Packers. I don't know how, but he kind of has to.
Right.
It's going to be weird. Safety was a weird one to start the offseason. Again, they didn't really address it very well. Savage, still starter until he, leaves the game like every week. Hurt. Then Rudy Ford, I think, has taken the other spot. They brought in Simone Biles' husband. I won't do that to him. In my mind, I was gonna refer to him only as that the entire year. Jonathan Owens, he's an okay player.
He's the Foye Luakin of safeties.
Sure.
Shout out Simone Biles.
Yeah, sure. Can she play quarterback? But yeah, Jonathan Owens, can she kick?
We have no reason to believe that she can't.
I know she's flexible enough to punt.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But safety's weird after those starters too. So Savage, Ford starting, Owens is there. I think Moore is probably the other guy. And then Anthony Johnson Jr., I love coming from out of the draft. I love him. I think he can play multiple spots. Ennis Gaines has been the only other person to play nickel cornerback. And everyone thinks he's going to get cut. And that's a very Packer move, which would probably suggest Nixon gets hurt immediately. Unfortunately, that's just how Green Bay works. But I hope Ennis. It can't happen. I need Ennis Gaines and Anthony Johnson Jr. to both make the roster because they're both talented enough and versatile enough to make the roster, play special teams, play safety or cornerback. It makes a lot of sense to keep those guys, but the Packers need a second kicker. So that's what's going to happen.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah. Can they kick? Are they that versatile? I don't know.
Yeah. Tough.
So I think that's how that shakes out for the defense. Offense, we know essentially. We talked about it. We have a new long snapper.
Yeah, we do.
It's like every year.
Yep.
He'll get replaced.
God forbid we pay a long snapper.
We did. We cut him.
Remember when we cut the long snapper like right before the playoffs, and then like the field goal started? Yeah. Like no fucking shit. What's gonna happen?
That's the thing. It's just before Bisaccia, there was no special teams knowledge of how to construct that roster.
Right.
None. There's no thought. There was no care. They didn't even try.
Yep. Nothing.
Packers are the worst special teams every year. Fire the coach. What? Rinse, repeat. It's every year, man. Rodgers choked in the playoffs, though. All Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I think this was a successful first episode back.
Goodbye, fuckers.
Yeah, never mind.
No, what do you got, Luke?
No, never mind.
Okay.
Sorry.
Come on.
I'll do the outro. If you want to say what is on your mind, you interrupt me at any point. Okay. So, thanks for coming back.
No, just kidding.
Oh, okay. Thanks for coming back to Lombardi Sweep. I think this is going to be a weekly thing from here on out. So we are live on the Flurry Sports YouTube channel, Facebook channel, the Lombardi Sweep Facebook channel as well. So join us live Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central, if you would like to jump in the chat. Like a lot of people here, we got Cheesehead1515 saying go Pack.
Hell yeah.
We got Stoof Curry chiming in, encouraging our bad behavior, I would say, throughout.
Shout out Stoof, man.
Shout out Jonathan.
Yeah.
Everyone knows you.
By the way, that OnlyFans account doesn't exist.
No?
Sad.
Damn. And Luke's dad. What's up? But yeah, so thank you for joining us on our first episode back. If you're listening to the audio version, which is up every Thursday, if you happen to miss the live show, definitely subscribe. Rate us 5 stars and share. We are up on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, Audible, a million places.
What the fuck kind of emojis has Stoof been sending us?
What is that? It doesn't even show up if I do that. Is he the Randy of the Lombardi Sweep? You're an enigma.
There could never be another.
Oh, great.
Randy.
We're having a very visual bit for the podcast already.
Hey,
we're in mid-season form, baby.
Exactly.
The only thing that changed is I haven't muted myself yet.
Right.
True. We'll get there. But we'll be back next week. Obviously, it's going to be first week leading up to the first Packers preseason game, so we'll have a little bit more to talk about there. after that, we'll have game reviews essentially the rest of the season. So we'll have a lot more real stuff to talk about. He's on Twitch, so he's got all the.
We gotta like end the show before Stoof like starts sending porn out.
I mean, he does have an OnlyFans apparently. But yeah, we will be back next week. Janet will probably join us next week, so we'll be on our best behavior.
Yeah.
So, but if she's not, I'll have a I'll have a tight 15 minutes on Anders Carlson.
Yeah, watch the fuck out if Janet is in here.
Okay, this was something. Goodbye. Enjoy your